What's up, everybody? Very happy Tuesday, especially to Commanders fans. And welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. I see everybody in the chat already smashing the like button, says Eric David. I see I'm catching some heat for liking the Jags first half yesterday, but I went 3 for 4. I crushed the props with Noah Brown, Chase Brown, and Zach Moss. And we had a nice day overall. Good job, prop stars. 2-0. Sniper only 1 for 2, but they were both plus money plays. So a lot of plus money on this screen. 10-8 actually looks better than it sounds. It's a winning day regardless. We'll take it each and every time. We'll always take more wins than losses. And we're bringing you some wins today with some familiar faces and some faces you haven't seen in a little bit. It's college football season, so Tom Casale's got to stop by the show, and he'll be doing that for college basketball as well. We got the Buckets and his nemesis, the Sniper. Buckets, I'm going to start with you real quick before I get to Tom and before we get to some official picks. You hit another interception prop yesterday. I believe you are 10-1 in interception props. Am I wrong there? Is it 11-1?
I was going to say, you're trying to tear me down or insult me this early in the morning. Sia, I am 11-1 on NFL interception props, which you corrected yourself to, so not a big deal. But yeah, the little coin here rarely lies, so we're just going to keep doing it because why not at this point,
So what's funny is Sniper, this seems like a gimmicky thing that Buckets does, but once you go like 6-1 in something, and then 7-1, and then 8-1, and then 9, and so on and so forth, like the gimmick is gone at this point. Like he's whatever's going on here, he's just good at it. I mean, we have to concede that, right?
No, not really. I mean, he's rolling a dice. That's just like it'd be like if you hit black or red in roulette like 10 times in a row. It doesn't mean you're amazing at guessing black or red. It's just a game of chance.
I will say there were 4 quarterbacks participating last night, and only one of the 4 threw an interception. So
something's going on here.
Something's happening.
Something's in the air.
Tom Casale, there's an almanac somewhere, and I believe it's somewhere close to where Buckets lives. It's a Back to the Future reference. Just watch the movie. Trust me.
I refuse.
It withstands the test of time. It's not
like sports almanac Bucket.
It's not. He knows what it is. He actually has the almanac. Tom, your quick reaction before we get to soccer picks. Now you brought 2 college football plays for us today on the show. I've got an NFL play for Sunday as well. Of course, we have baseball picks today and soccer picks as well. But your reaction to last night, because the Bills looked great. The Jags looked like they have Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, not a great quarterback. The Commanders, like what's your initial reaction watching those 2 games?
Yeah, well, I'm here in upstate New York, so I'm around a lot of Bills fans, and they were nervous this offseason about all the changes. And one thing that I told them is sometimes when teams do that, you get better. Like sometimes when you take out guys who don't want to be there. So I thought they were an interesting team coming into the year. I didn't think they would be this good right off the bat. So, I mean, the Bills have been really impressive. Obviously, things going on in Jacksonville. It's just not working with the head coach and the quarterback. Something's going to change there. When you look at the other game, I thought Washington, I'm down on the NFC East. I'm a Cowboys fan. I think that they're trash. I don't think the Giants are any good. The Eagles look like pretty much the same team as last year. I think they still have problems. So I think Washington's kind of interesting. I do cover LSU closely. I don't think people realize how Jaden Daniels had better numbers than Joe Burrow at LSU. And I know he won the Heisman, but when you think of like the great LSU teams, you think of that Burrow team because they won the national championship. But Jaden Daniels is a heck of a player. I was dead wrong on the Bengals. I'll tell you that right now. I thought they were going to be a big-time Super Bowl contender. Nothing's gone right for them, starting with the Chase issue heading into the season. I don't know what's going on, but I can tell you this. Joe Burrow's blonde hair isn't helping, and we all know that. So let's get rid of that and see if things turn around.
Yeah, it's not looking good. It's one thing to start slowly every season, but 0-3 is 0-3. The defense looks really deplorable. Washington looked like San Francisco on offense. I mean, they were just pushing all the right buttons. Credit to Jaden Daniels, the best quarterback in this last year's draft. And, of course, Cliff Kingsbury. Got to give him credit, and Dan Quinn as well. All right, let's get to some official picks. If you have an official pick, put it in the chat, and we'll give you a shout-out. Buckets, I'm hoping I can pronounce these names. You got a couple of soccer plays. Are they both today?
They are both today, yes, Sia. And if it helps you at all, I can't pronounce them either. So we'll both kind of be on the same page here this afternoon. Let's talk about the Finnish Veikkausliiga in a matchup between Tampereen Ilves taking on Koops. And this is a really fun game for a lot of reasons. And I don't have enough time to break down how the Finnish league works. But all you need to know is that this is considered a playoff match. And every match for the next couple weeks means everything to these teams. There's going to be no rotation. We're going to see no slow play. Teams have to go out for wins because they have to be getting points in the playoff competition. I'm taking over 2.5 goals at -125 because right now, not only, again, do these teams need to win, but we are seeing two of the best scoring teams in all of Finland clashing in this matchup. Ilves has been playing out of their mind this season. They have 12 wins, 6 draws, 5 losses, but 48 goals scored over their 23 games. So tremendous offense while conceding 27. So really non-existent defense. And Koops is not much better with 42 scored and 23 conceded. This is a matchup that I can't pick a winner, but I wouldn't be shocked if this ended 2-2. So take the over and just play it easy where you don't have to care about who wins that match. Then for our second game, we are going to the Serie A. Just kidding. We're going to the Coppa Italia in Italy. So it is a cup match between Cagliari and Cremonese. And we're taking the classic here of both teams to score at -115. And we're taking that because it's the Coppa Italia. If you want to have a really easy way to bet this competition, if you ever see a Coppa Italia match, just bet both teams to score. For whatever reason in this competition, BTTS hits at an absolutely absurd rate. Both of these teams, even though the BTTS doesn't hit a lot domestically, hits in their Coppa Italia matches. I don't want to overthink this one. All I care about is getting 2 cashes tomorrow when I'm on the show that I can brag about those checks. See ya.
All right. 2 cashes. Well, you'll definitely get a shout out one way or the other, Buckets. And if you want to make those bets that Buckets just made, or the bets we're about to give you in MLB or the NFL or college football coming your way, you go to BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you will receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. We got a lot of bets in the chat. The Storm +8, the Mets. Well, that's an interesting one. +124. I think we have somebody on the show that has a pick on that game. And we're going to hear about it right after this message from our partners.
CBS Sports HQ, giving you college football coverage unlike anyone else.
We're talking Big Ten.
Pre- and post-game coverage.
Are you encouraged with the way that this team responded?
Along with breaking news.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
Highlights and expert analysis.
That streak could be in jeopardy here.
Sure. What was your main takeaway from this game? How impressive was his domination?
That really changed the football game.
Let's go ahead and have some more fun.
Another wild ending.
The chaos continues.
Turn to CBS Sports HQ.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Buckets, drop it in the chat. Mets +124. Is he on Sniper's side? I don't know. You'll have to wait to find out. You'll have to wait a little bit because we're going to college football, and then we're going to the NFL, and then we're going to MLB, but we're going to rip right through it. Tom, you've got 2 picks for this college football weekend, one really high-profile team and one not so much. What are the plays?
Yeah, first, I like Friday night, Rutgers at home against Washington. This is one of the games I had circled from August. You know, I'm old school. I still have the pen and the paper, so I circle them. And this is a great spot for Rutgers. Washington, I come up with my own metric. It's called quality production. Washington lost more quality production than any team in college football last year. Now, they haven't left the state of Washington yet. They played one neutral game site versus Washington State, which they lost. Washington State was physical with them. That's where I think Washington could be in trouble on the defensive side of the ball. Rutgers is going to run the football at them. They're going to be physical. And, man, Piscataway, New Jersey is going to be rocking for this game. Schiano's going to be chopping the wood. I love Rutgers in this spot, so I would lay anything under 3. And my other pick, I hadn't planned on taking this game because the look-ahead line was 4.5, but Georgia is now -125 on the money line. My power rankings still have Georgia better than Alabama. You know, if you look at Georgia, they played a good Clemson team. They went on the road and played Kentucky. Now, they didn't look good, but sometimes Georgia plays down to their competition in the SEC. Both these teams have had a week off. I know Alabama killed Wisconsin. I was on Alabama that game. Wisconsin's a bad football team. both teams with a week off. I think you see a much different Georgia team. They've been tested more than Alabama, and I still think Georgia's the best team in the country. They have the athletes to slow down Milroe. Now, Georgia's won 16 straight road games, which is an impressive streak. Alabama 9-1 their last 10 against Georgia, but that was under Saban. So remember that. Saban knows Georgia. He knows their defense. He was the one coach that could kind of find ways to score against them. They last 3 wins against Georgia, they've averaged 33.6 points against that great Georgia defense. Now, can Kellen DeBoer do the same thing? We're going to find out. But at basically -2 right now, anything under 3, I really like the Bulldogs to come away with a win.
Yeah, I like Georgia money line there. Let me ask you something, because Tom, you always I shouldn't say always. Sometimes you join us on By the Book over at my DC show. Yesterday I did a segment on who I thought the best college football team. You just said you think it's Georgia. Can I ask you who you think the second best college football team? Because my answer to the best team was the Texas Longhorns, which of course you disagree with. Where do you put Texas in this ranking?
Oh, Georgia, Texas, and Ohio State are the first 3. And Georgia and Texas are going to play, so we're going to find out. Ohio State's not going to lose. They'll be undefeated. No one in the Big Ten going to beat them. But Georgia's got a tough schedule. They got Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas. So I think they're going to lose one of those games, and I think it's going to be Texas. I think Texas might win the SEC.
Yeah, and Georgia has to go to Texas for that game. All right, Buckets, I do have a question for you. I want to give Brad Betts a shout out. He says, Buckets, the best part of last night is that a man who literally survived death was the man who got the INT. You're the man. Credit to Damar Hamlin, because we didn't think we'd see him on a field again. And to the extent we did think we'd see him on the field, I think all of us thought it would be in very much a backup role, a sparing role. But here he is getting interceptions and playing pretty much a full-time role. So shout out to Damar Hamlin. We had a question, though. Bucks, Real Madrid over 2.5 from Daniel M. Buckets, any thoughts on that one?
I can't stand betting on Real Madrid, man. It's a team that should win every game by 9 goals, and they're ending every halftime at 0-0, and then usually scoring 3 in the second half. I would be a little bit cautious here because Real Madrid stated that they are expected to make some slight rotations and changes. Specifically, Kylian Mbappe is not expected to start in this fixture, so I would wait until lineups come out, and what I'd wait to do is probably live bet the game. If it is 0-0 20 minutes in, or if it's a slower start, look to bet Real Madrid when you can get that to 1.5 team total, just because 2.5 is tricky against teams that know that they have to play defense when going against Madrid.
And right on cue, Brad Betts supporting your take, Buckets. He says, I'd wait and live bet Real Madrid over 1.5 team total over. Absolutely love to see that. By the way, we've got a host of stars and analysts in the chat. We got Danny Brasco, Larry Hartstein, and Mike McClure all in the chat. Ask them any questions you like. All right, I'm going to get to my pick, and then we're going to get to some baseball today. I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking an early line here. Okay, so Bears-Rams. This line opened at Bears -1.5. And surprising to many people, the Bears took some money, got to 2.5, got to 3, and it's sitting at 3. And I don't think this is going to kick up to 3.5. I think now that we're at a key number, I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams on the road and just trust that Sean McVay and Matt Stafford are going to be better than Eberflus and Caleb Williams. And I understand I don't want to reduce this to just that. The offensive line is still a mess for the Rams. They still have all the skill position players, or their primary skill position players, out on the outside. I still think 3 is too much. I think this is going to be a back and forth game. I think to the extent the Bears take a big lead, which frankly would have me a little shocked, I think a backdoor cover is very much in play. We saw what the Rams did down big to the San Francisco 49ers, and obviously they're playing down in competition here. So it's a bit of a letdown spot after playing a division rival. I completely get that, but it's the Bears at the end of the day. 3 is too many points. I want to grab this line now because I do think at close, it probably, not definitely, but it probably goes down to 2.5. So I went ahead and put this in on SportsLine about an hour ago. All right, let's finally get to some baseball, Sniper. You're always coming in here giving us plus money plays, and that's, by the way, that's not a directive. You can feel free to drop a -120, a -140, but lately it's been a lot of plus numbers. What do you got tonight?
Well, first thing I wanted to say is, how many points is the coach worth in your play? Because McVay is going to run circles around Eberflus.
Yes. That's the thing. I mean, I get Stafford versus Caleb in a quarterback league, and I get Sean McVay, who now has another week to plan without his offensive lineman. It'd be one thing if he gets caught flat-footed in the middle of the game with all his linemen getting out. But now you've already played the Niners. Now you have another week to plan for the Bears. If anybody's going to figure out the injury situation, it's going to be somebody like Sean McVay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think you probably are feeling some pretty good vibes today after the way Jaden Daniels looked last night, after Thomas just basically pointed out, hey, the Commanders have a shot to win the division. Who would have thought that this year? I'm going to stick with some good vibes here. I feel like the Mets have really, really good vibes. So I'm going to go with the Mets plus 124. Apparently I'm stealing the pick from Buckets in the chat, but that's fine. We'll go with that. With this series right now, Mets at Braves, obviously a lot of people are thinking and talking about 2022 when the Mets went down to Atlanta, the Braves kicked their teeth in, the Braves won the division, and then the Mets got beat by the Padres in the first round of the playoffs. I know the memory lingers, but I think it's complete opposite this year. The Mets have much better vibes than the Braves, and I know that the pitching matchup, Luis Severino on the road versus Spencer Schwellenbach, looks like it favors the Braves, but I'm riding with the Mets right here. They're a good road team. They've been the best team in baseball since the start of June. Legitimately the best team in baseball since the start of that month, and that's not a small sample. They have played like a 105-win team since June 2nd. They are really, really good. They have good vibes. Maybe Lindor comes back, maybe not. I don't think they're going to need him. I just think that the Mets are legit right now, and I think they're going to go into Atlanta and take that series, if not sweep the Braves. So I'm on them on the plus 124 tonight. Speaking of good vibes, the San Diego Padres as well. Plus 100 in LA against the Dodgers. I've got the Padres taking this one to kind of really tighten that division here and make the Dodgers sweat a little bit. The Padres were 50-50. They lost the first game after the All-Star break to fall to 50-50. Since then, they're 40-16. They hadn't been at full strength in the first half. They're pretty much at full strength right now. I am worried a little bit about Robert Suarez at the back end of the bullpen, but they have every element to win the World Series right now. They have a strong and deep lineup. They have a great rotation 1 through 4. Michael King on the bump tonight has been going really, really well in the entire second half. They have a great back end of the bullpen if Suarez is going okay, along with Tanner Scott and Jason Adam additions in front of the trade deadline. I love everything about the Padres right now. They're going to go into Dodger Stadium and make the Dodgers sweat in the NL West. Padres plus 100.
All right. I hate to catch you flat-footed here, but somebody, I think it's CLE fan Sniper, says, Sniper, first, thanks for the home run pick yesterday. Secondly, it's Dinger Tuesday. Who you got?
Oh, I forgot to write that down. Aaron Judge has hit home runs in 2 straight games now, and you know how he gets on those hot streaks and he hits them all in bunches. At home, Dean Kramer of the Orioles has given up 3 home runs and 13 at-bats to Judge in his career. So I think we're going to ride with the big man in this one.
Buckets, you had a smirk on your face, and that
he's
tells
gonna
me
do a
something.
Showdown.
No, I'm not doing a showdown because I just want to say, Sniper, I just want to say, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This new mic has a dumb mute button on the bottom of it. So if I press there, it mutes. It's terrible. But Sniper, I just want to say that I appreciate you listening to my play in the chat and backing my play there with the Mets money line. I'm glad we're on the same side here, brother. I got you. Also, a question in the chat about the KNV Backyard Cup this afternoon, Sia. And thank goodness I didn't do these teams. They're asking about ACV Assen versus Eimer Volkos playing at 2 p.m. this afternoon.
What?
Take over 3.5 goals in that game. I used all my power learning how to pronounce that team name, so I don't really have the energy to give out the explanation. But anytime you see Eimer Volkos play, just take the over. Easy money, baby.
I mean, I think you should get paid for just finding that bet in those teams.
Oh, that was tough.
That is crazy. Jeff Sternberg's in the pick, and he's always a Yankee hater. I kind of wish Amags was on the show to hear him, but I think he had Dean Kramer like 7+ strikeouts at some like crazy number. And I don't think that's going to happen. But the last time Jeff has been in the chat to rail on the Yankees with strikeout numbers, they've both come true at like ridiculous plus money numbers. You do think that's a big game, Orioles Yankees, or maybe it's not as big of a game as I thought it would be.
Not as big right now. The Orioles are completely choked. It's kind of a foregone conclusion now that the Yankees are going to clinch the division. I'm sure they want to do it as soon as possible. But yeah, it looked, for a lot of August, we're eyeing that last week, like, oh, the Orioles got to go to the Bronx. That's going to be a big series, but no, not now.
All right.
And I did want to really quick, I wanted to give Rick Funcannon in the chat a shout. Yesterday, I didn't necessarily have a home run pick ready. And he said, what about Kyle Schwarber home run? And I was like, actually, yeah, do that. That'll be my home run pick for today. Schwarber hit a bomb. So I could take some of the credit, I guess, but I want to give it to Rick.
Hey, real quick, because there is a question about the early MLB game. I know you don't have a play on that, but it's an interesting matchup with Pepio against Skubal.
Yeah, I looked at it.
It starts at 110. The over-under is 7. And, of course, it's minus 185 to the Tigers at home. Any thoughts there?
I definitely think the Tigers are going to win. I didn't want to do the run line again because I don't know if Skubal's going to go more than like 6 innings or so. And Pepio at times can be really, really good. He struck out something like 12 last time out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he has a chance to keep the Tigers down, and they might have to do it late. So maybe they'll win by 1. And with the minus 190, I just kind of avoided that. But I would be okay with anybody wanting to ride the Tigers and Skubal there.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is, but maybe no run first inning would be a play in that one as well.
Yeah.
If you want to dip your toe in early at 110. Dak over 1.5 touchdown passes at minus 125, says Gipper's Picks. We're going to have Thursday night football. Of course, that's Cowboys, Giants in New York. It's 4.5 point spread. We'll have plenty of props and picks headed your way as we approach Thursday. But let's take a look at the picks we had today. I've got the Rams +3. Of course, that's on Sunday. Minus 105 is the number there. Buckets. Oh, boy. Tambourine, Ives, Coops over 2.5, minus 125. And Kylery, Serminosi, both teams to score minus 115. I know I got that second one wrong. Mets money line plus 124 from the sniper, and Padres money line plus 100. Tom Casale, Friday Night Lights, Rutgers minus 2.5. And on Saturday, Georgia money line against Alabama at minus 125. What a great show. Action-packed show. Oh, yeah. Okay. Brian Smith says the NRFI, no run first inning for that game, is minus 170. Yeah, that's a lot of juice. That's not something I'm going to take, but that's what I was looking at. Maybe a first 5 under, also the play there. Maybe a first 3 under if that's being offered at your book. All right, ladies and gentlemen, great show. Thanks for being in here, Larry and Mike McClure and Danny Brasco and all of you, and that includes Brad Betts and Rick Funcannon, Danny Garcia, Brian Smith. Thanks for being in here. Always participating, hitting the like button. Try to give as many shout outs as possible, but let me shout out Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s, the sniper, Tom Casale, the whole team here, including buckets and his interception props. I'm the Counselor of Cash. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. This is the Early Edge, and we rest our case.